guys, I'm just a little late to this party, but here I am. So last week I went to go see Divergent in theaters with my mom. I'm just getting this video up now because I have not had much time to film or edit, so I'm a little late. So I went into this movie kind of wary. It's very rare for me to find a movie adaptation of a book that I genuinely like. I actually was really happy with Divergent. There's still some things I was a little nitpicky with, but you know what? All things concerning, they did a fantastic job. The casting was great, the script writing was great, and just the pacing was good. Like, that was one thing I was really worried about, that the pacing would be really awkward and choppy and whatnot. The movie literally could not be paced better. And even better yet, it did not feel 2.5 hours long like it really was. So, really good job on that. The movie was fantastic, and just, if you have not seen it already, go and see it now. You won't regret it. It was good. So, if you don't want kind of spoilers of what's going to happen in the movie, I suggest you click away now. Here I go. Like, I got really into this movie, guys. Like, really into it. When Triss was struggling to pick which faction to go to, you could, like, feel tension. Or at least I felt tension, like, oh my god, what is she gonna pick? You can feel the urgency of what's going on, which is nice. I like being able to actually feel what the character feels in the movie and stuff like that. So, good job with that. I felt extremely happy and just, like, super pumped when she picked Dauntless and they're just, like, running out of the hall and, like, climbing up the train poles and whatnot. I just felt really excited for that. When she was running for the train, I felt the urgency and, like, worry for her. Like, is she gonna make it? Is she gonna make it in time? When you knew she was gonna make it, obviously. But at the same time, you still felt that, like, urgency. I like how we really see how Triss does not belong in Abomination. Just, you can feel that she doesn't fit in, more so than you did in the book, which was nice. You know, we could feel like she's different. What is about her that is so different? I like the fighting montages they did, like, showing the Dauntless training. So, you know, you see, like, this is what they're doing, but we don't spend countless amounts of time focusing mainly on that, since there's so much other stuff going on as well. I love how grouchy and, like, pissy 4 comes off as. Just to, like, everyone, including Triss. I like that. One thing I was worried about them doing was making, like, this whole love at first sight thing in the movie, which drives me insane when they do that. And I was really worried they would be focusing too much on the romance aspect of the story, which, in the grand scheme of things, I don't feel is, like, as big. So I'm glad they did not focus an extra amount of time on that, because, yeah, it's in the story, but it's not the whole story. One thing I had a little issue with was Peter. I kind of wish they kept the whole scene where Peter, like, stabs Edward in the eye. And I just thought we should have seen how much of a little prick that Peter is. Like, in the movie, I didn't feel he came across as quite as much of a jerk as he did in the book. Like, sure, he had his snide commentary, which was needed, but I felt there should have been more of it, and we should have seen more what a evil little bitch he was. To show, like, yeah, this kid is bad. Do not like this kid. I feel that fact should have been struck home, like, more. Like, yeah, this kid, no good. You do not like him. Do not like this kid. He is bad news. I felt that should have been in the movie a bit more, but that's just me being a little nitpicky, maybe. Also, when they're about to throw Triss into the chasm, Al, Drew, and Peter, I felt they should have, like, shown, like, yeah, one of those guys is Peter. Yeah, they showed that one of them was Al, which was good. But we should have seen that Peter was behind that, too. Once again, show what a little prick that he is. I like how they made a lot of other things, like, more action-packed. Like, when Triss gets the shit beat out of her with combat practice, I like how they said, like, yeah, Eric said you're out. Like, I was not expecting that to happen, so I was just like, oh my god, what? What are they doing? That didn't happen, what? So I like how they threw little things like that in to keep the book readers, like, on their toes, too. Since we know what's gonna happen, so when they throw little things like that in there, it's kind of like a, whoa, wait, what? moment. But I also like how she's just like, they sent him out, but you know what? Screw them. I'm gonna go join this game anyway. So I like that. And I like how they made the game a little less fun. Like, at first I was like, when I first saw the movie and was like watching it play out in front of me, I'm like, this isn't how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be paintballs, not like these neuro things. But then afterwards, once I let it sink in a bit more, I'm like, okay, this seems more dauntless. Them actually feeling pain as if they're being shot. And I like how we saw more of that, and I felt it did make it much more action-packed. I also liked how, like, it was clear that the dauntless initiation had changed recently with, like, just little things that Four and Eric have said. So that was nice to show, like, yeah, the dauntless weren't always quite like this. I kind of like how Eric came off as semi-sympathetic in some scenes, and then you see what a douchebag he is. Like with Christina and the Chasm, he's like, he comes off as all concerned about her after the fight and everything with Molly. So I was confused when that happened. I'm like, this isn't Eric. Does he have, like, a good twin somewhere in the movie that wasn't in the book? And then, you know, shove her over the chasm. And we see what a jerk he is, and I like how that was done. And just the whole fear simulations, I understand why they couldn't have it like the book, but I am happy with how they did things. I especially like how Four kind of got Tris to come into his fear landscape. I greatly enjoyed that, because in the book it kind of seemed like a weird reason for him to show her, since they didn't know each other really well then. Like, oh yeah, I'm taking my fear landscape just because I want you to see it. I thought that was kind of a random, weird reasoning in the book. So I like how he had a more concrete, teacher-like reason for her to come into his fear landscape. And that was because he wanted to show her how a Dauntless would handle fear landscapes. Which I like how they did. In the book, I guess she just kind of like made herself take longer to go through the fear landscape instead of like doing things differently. But in the movie, Four was teaching her how a Dauntless would handle the fear landscape so she wouldn't be suspected of being divergent. So I like how they did that. I love how they did like the mass like simulation with the Dauntless. One thing that confused me, when the Dauntless were going after the Abomination, I was pretty sure they were only going after the council members. I think they were only going after the council members. I cannot remember. But in the movie, they were running, like, the whole faction up to, like, kill them. And anyone running instantly got shot. And then they would just go do a mass murder of, like, a whole faction. I thought that was much more intense and just, oh my god, what is happening? But I also like that because it made things much more urgent. But, you know, knowing there's going to be, like, this huge genocide of a faction versus a mass murder of the leaders. I especially love how Tris woke Four up from the simulation. I love that. Her, instead of turning the gun to him, turned it on herself. And just like, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me. And you could see she's freaked out because it's like, is this going to work or is he just going to shoot me? One thing I also liked in the movie, in the book, I felt the death scenes between Tris, his mom, dad, and Will were much more short. In the movie, it was a little more drawn out, which I liked because it made that emotion hit home than if it was just like, bam, they're dead. And I like how we see Trish showing more emotion about that, like, right after it happened. So, I actually got really teary when that happened, especially when she had to kill Will. So I like how she does try and snap him out of the simulation before shooting. But, you know, of course it doesn't work. So that was just kind of a, like, that just made it much more sad, her kind of freaking out with, like, I killed him, I killed him, I killed him, I killed him. Oh, I love some of Trish's commentary, like, all these people are, like, assuming, oh, you won't shoot me. You won't shoot me, you don't have it in you. And she's just like, why does everyone keep saying that? Shoot. Overall, this movie was freaking fantastic. I was very happy with how they did it, and just overall, the complaints I have feel really nitpicky, and just, it would have been nice to have them in the movie, but at the same time, I do understand why they did not, because of time restraints and all that. The movie was 2.5 hours long, so cut them some slack there. Overall, it was fantastic. It's one of the movies I would definitely very happily go see again in theater. That is my little book to movie discussion. Please share what your thoughts and opinions of the movie were. What were some scenes that you wish they put in? What did you wish they did differently? What did you like? I'm getting tongue-tied here. What did you like? What they did? That did not make any sense, did it? What are some things that they did that you liked? There we go. And so on and so forth. So, that's it for this video, and I will see you guys later.